my little pirate guy. I'd rather be a ninja, but they don't have that outfit.
You look healthy.
What yo, hello. Welcome back to my channel, all you very awesome people. Thank you so much for your support by watching. It's awesome. Son, I love you. I miss you so much, man. I'll get into why here in a little bit, but I wanted to do something first. Trigger warning! While I did the outline for this over the last few weeks, I now have researched a little bit on certain things, and I need to give a trigger warning because everything on my outline is triggerable, I guess. So, trigger warning. If you are easily triggered, please leave me a comment telling me what upsets you, and I will try to avoid it in the future. But for right now, since I don't really get feedback, I'm going with this video as is. So, I've been sick for the last, I don't know if you can hear it or not, but I've been sick for about the last 3 weeks. In my opinion, not very bad, but it's been very long and very persistent. I've been having massive coughing fits that I felt like it broke my rib, but I don't think it did. It may have just bruised those muscles. I'm not sure. The best I can come up with through my Googling is that it was RSV. It's not a hugely, I mean, it's dangerous in old people and kids, which is why I haven't gone anywhere. But I'm going to say a few things about being sick. If you would like rank them, I guess they're like lowest to highest. Like I'm going to go with number 3 first. But being sick sucks. Just in general, it sucks to have to seclude yourself, especially in this day and age, from everyone you can. I have a roommate, so it was hard for him to seclude himself from me, but we did our best. I mean, I've had time to work on my videos, which is how one got released like 2 weeks ago. I finally had the time to just sit down and do it. I mean, it took me all day, and I had to take multiple breaks because I just didn't have the energy, and I had coughing fits that would just take up large amounts of time. But I got it done, and I got it out there, and you know, there was a few views, and that's cool. It really makes me feel special that anyone wants to look at my face. But being sick and having jobs don't really go hand in hand in this day. And I would like to give a round of applause for Chipotle's standards of health, because they ask you every day a series of questions if you've had these symptoms, and coughing is one of them. So after a few days of coughing, I got a hold of my managers and I let them know, and Chipotle as a company has a whole series of nurses that are just on call 24/7 to analyze your symptoms and tell you if you can go to work or not. And they have not released me yet. It is nearly 3 weeks and they haven't released me yet. I mean, I'm still coughing, I'm leaking. For a long time, for like almost 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks, it felt like someone was sitting on my chest and wouldn't get off. And very hard to breathe, very hard to get oxygen, but breathing techniques help, and I been dealing with it. It's been rough for as little sickness as, from my viewpoint, that I've had way worse sicknesses that have literally just had me on the floor throwing up for hours. I'm glad that it wasn't that, but since I haven't been able to go to work, that means no money, which unfortunately means no bill money, no supply money. I don't have money for food, and this isn't like poor me thing, it's just the facts of what's going on. No job equals no money, and since I've been sick, I haven't been grub-hubbing either, so it's been bad all around. I'm not getting side money, I'm not having my day job. I had a week or so that I was working before the pay period, before I got sick. I had about a week, so I mean, at least there was that. So some my automatic stuff that comes out of my check, pretty sure that got paid, but I didn't get a paycheck, so I'm not very hopeful for that. And then when I do go back to work, hopefully in 4 days, I won't get a paycheck because I've missed out on so much work. This is the end of the pay period as it stands, so I'm gonna be short on everything for a while, which just sucks. Like I said, being sick sucks. The worst part about being sick is that I haven't seen my son in 3 weeks. That's the worst part. Miss him so much. He's on my desktop. I see him every day through social media and whatnot too, but just haven't been able to go see him. It makes me bad, like feel very bad. Being sick sucks. I have this problem where I don't like money, but I'm tired of being poor. I'm tired of not being able to go to the doctors when I need to. Tired of not having food when I need to. And a few years ago when I worked at the Tamarack, I had a guy tell me that I liked being poor because I was. And if I didn't like it, I would not be poor. Like somehow just not wanting to be poor makes me able to get money. But it made me mad at first. Like it triggered me, and I was very upset. I was like, how can you just be so ignorant? No poor person wants to be poor. And I'm doing this as I'm a clerk at the time, and I'm ringing up his $300 of alcohol and his $400 worth of snack food for the Super Bowl. I've been living for the last 6 years on burritos and salsa. Okay? Like, because if I was to spend any more money on food than that, I wouldn't be able to pay my bills. I mean, it's a struggle that all poor people have. You have to choose what are real necessities to you, and I know I can survive on less. I used to be homeless and eat maybe once every 3 days, maybe. Sometimes I think the longest I went without actual food was 2 weeks, and I was drinking constant water to keep my stomach from growling and stuff. And I didn't look healthy at the end of that homeless period. I mean, I still technically am not healthy now. I've been eating frozen burritos and salsa for the last 6 years. Of course, I'm not got the best immune system. The best thing I got going for me is salsa. It has a bunch of vitamins and whatnot. And I don't actually know, but it's been my secret weapon versus sickness for the last 12 years, and it worked. Like, that system worked. I'm tired of being poor, and I know that sets people off, but I have a viewpoint that if you're able to go out to a restaurant and sit down and dine in, you're making too much money, or you need to just go home and eat that same food, but make it and go give some money to a homeless dude or something. I mean, yeah, they might go buy booze, but God, their life are hard. They have a hard life. A lot of the people I know that aren't homeless drink like fishes anyway, and they don't have nearly as bad. No, don't get me wrong. No matter what economic part of the ladder you're in, you're gonna have problems. I know that. I've seen it. I've seen people from my economic level all the way up to millionaires, and they all have problems. I mean, their problems don't make any sense to me because, I don't buy jet fuel or whatever, but I'm getting a little sidetracked. I'd love to go get tested for ADHD and a few other things. I'm just so tired of being poor and not being able to get anything. And here's the fun thing. I make too much money to get assistance, but not enough to be able to pay for it on my own. It reminds me of being a late teenager in my early adultness. I lost my license, and I didn't have a car, and the only way I could get a job anywhere around me was by driving. And I could drive my friends' cars, but I didn't have a license. So I had this whole problem where I could drive to get to a work to maybe make money, but in that time period I may get pulled over, and I already had a record of driving in not the right ways for laws. I often got no insurance tickets and driving without a valid driver's license, and So, I mean, I had this theory that I was going to be the only guy in prison for no insurance and driving without, the proper identification. And if you get sent to prison for something like that, you're probably going to be somebody. I'll shatter it. And I mean, those are just recent examples of me being triggered. When I was younger, I was told by doctors that I was obese. And at the time, I was around 250 pounds and I was in junior high. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was 5'4" at junior high, which made me nearly the biggest person in school. And 250 pounds literally made me the biggest person in school, which was, I got picked on and whatnot pretty ruthlessly. I mean, there's a saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I'm very on board with that because I have been through a lot and it hasn't killed me and I am super tough from it. At least I've been told. I like to think so too, but who knows? I could be just a sissy lala or a crybaby, depending on who you are and where you come from. And I mean, so when I was young, the doctors told me I was obese. Now, nearly 21 years later, I think was the last time I went to a doctor and they were like, you're fat. You wanna fix your health, just lose weight, which I have tried many times. When I was homeless, I got down to 211 pounds and I did not look healthy. I mean, I don't know. I don't know that stuff. I come from the backwoods where people don't even really, especially in the 90s, early 2000s, they didn't, unless they were rich and could pay to get fresh stuff and organic stuff. I mean, that's just too much money for the average person I knew. I was lucky to have top ramen with cheese and eggs in it. I didn't really like the egg part, but we needed to eat something of value in there. Also, my car is breaking down slowly and more thoroughly. And while I do have a financial backer, thank you, Dad, it's just put me in debt more and more. It's breaking down right now. It's got this knock. And I've fixed a bunch of stuff on it so far, spark plugs and a coil pack, and just more and more in debt. I wish I had the ability to make my car be the best it could. I don't. That bugs me too. I'm just so tired of having to struggle so hard to get nothing. I've been working so long because I was told if I worked hard, I was diligent, did what I was told, that I would get ahead in life. And I've just been walked on. That's all that's happened. The people that have money take advantage of my work ethic and take advantage of my loyalty, and I don't get anything from it. I'm usually the least paid employee of wherever I am all the time. Even when they hire new people, they'll hire people at a higher rate than they hired me, and I've been raised to. Those new people are getting more money than me. And that's why companies don't want you to talk about your rate of pay with fellow employees, is because they're not paying everyone the same thing. I've worked at 3-4 dozen different jobs. That is the case everywhere. It's always been the same. And don't get me wrong, I'm saying that people that have been in a job a long time, that loyalty should be rewarded a lot more than someone coming in that's new, because they most likely are just going to walk out in the next 2 weeks, which is probably why they pay them so much, is because the turnover rate's so high. But they needed to take care of their long-term people. If I would have been making a reasonable money for staying at jobs as long as I have, I probably wouldn't have quit and would have tried harder to stay. Like when I busted my knees, like I would have, asked for their help to get me up to snuff to be able to work in that kitchen, but it didn't seem viable, so I moved on. Another thing that triggers me are words, which is really what triggers everyone, and I understand that, but mine are weird words. My best one that upsets me when I see it is non-dairy sour cream. What? How does that work? Soured cream is cream. It is dairy. It is dairy. So to have non-dairy sour cream, just call it something else. Like, I don't understand. Because that's like saying I'm a non-humanoid human. What? I don't know. Words get me. And Like, most of the time, all I can do is laugh at it because there's nothing else that can be done. Like, being upset that there's non-dairy sour cream doesn't change the fact that that's the way it's said. Like, it just doesn't. I don't know how you even would get that changed, and it's not a big enough deal to worry about, so I don't. It just kind of makes me laugh now, and that's a trigger. It has triggered that in me. I think my biggest takeaway from this video, the thing I want to like transfer to everyone watching, is that the world is just going to trigger you. And it is my belief that you can't really know yourself until you've been triggered hundreds of thousands of times. And I'm using the word as the way it's normally used, where it like upsets you or sets your feelings in a different direction or gets you thinking in a way that you don't normally think, which is good. That is a good thing to do. So, I mean, my biggest advice for being triggered is we should all take those events and those situations that happen to us. And I realize that there are other definitions of triggered, which I actually agree with more, and it has to do with psychological damage, not just you getting upset, and things like PTSD from multiple different avenues of getting that. But I agree with all of that. But like, when it comes to your emotions, you need to be triggered. When it comes to your ideas on the way you view life, you need to be triggered. You need that extra viewpoint, because we don't think of everything. Like, we're very egocentrical beings. The world is from our viewpoint. So what we see is usually what we judge, and that's usually never right. So we need to take those situations, internalize them, analyze them, and then decide how we view that idea. And in earnest, don't just be like, oh yeah, no, that's not me. We all do it, and you're lying to yourself if you don't think you do. I do. Everyone does. And then after we have decided our viewpoint on that, it is not our obligation or job to go and forcefully put our opinions onto someone else. That is wrong. Like, no matter how you feel about something, you should not ever be attacking anyone because your belief system is different than theirs. That's just wrong. It's ignorance. It's willful ignorance, which I believe is the real root of stupidity. And the only time I believe it's acceptable to produce your own opinions and ideas is when they're asked for. And I realize this whole video is my opinion and viewpoints. And for the unwantedness of it, I'm sorry. But I'm also non-apologetic. Like, I'm sorry it hurts you if it does. I hope it actually helps, because we're all going through crap. And it's not until we see that other people are too that even helps at all. Actually, it's one of the reasons a lot of people, most humans, love seeing tragedy happen. Small tragedies, but like somebody falling on the ice, everyone will laugh. And if you don't, it's usually because you've traumatized yourself into not laughing, because you fell on the ice probably, or because I fell on the ice a lot, and I didn't laugh at other people because I didn't like being laughed at. But it wasn't the laughing at me. My viewpoint was skewed. Well, they weren't laughing at me. They were laughing at the tragedy that they know and the pain they know. And laughter is the cure for pain. Like, I've seen works that have said so. I believe that. I wish I was better at making people laugh, because it's the best cure for everything. Physical pain all the way up through emotional and mental pain. Being able to laugh at things takes its power away. And I just was egocentrical, and I thought they were always laughing at me, when in reality it's the situation and the things that are happening that are usually, I mean, you may be the focal point for that situation, but it happens to everybody. If you don't think that everyone on this planet hasn't fallen on ice, wet rocks, slippery needles from pine trees, other leaves that I don't know, the other kind of tree, deciduous, I think, or maybe, I don't know, but I'm not smart, so I don't know stuff. And trees have never been on my focal point, like, just saying. When we're asked about our opinions, then we should give them, and give them as just our side. And if somebody gets upset and doesn't like it and gets defensive because maybe that's how they view the world, or they don't view the world and they view it in an opposite way or whatever, they will usually get defensive and try and attack your beliefs and try and tell you that your viewpoint isn't valid. And I've seen this statement a lot, and it irked me a little bit, because not every viewpoint is valid. Some people's viewpoints on particular things aren't real. Like, I cannot actually give a good viewpoint on being rich, on having everything that I could need paid for, which gives me the ability to do things I want to do. And I've never had that. This is as close as I've ever gotten to doing things I want to do. I wanted to dance for a long time, and then I wanted to play an instrument, and I wanted to be a video game designer. I've wanted to do so many things, and the answer to me was usually, it'll never happen. Give up that dream. Don't even invest in that, because it'll just hurt you in the end. And me thinking that the people around me knew what they were talking about, I took that, and I was very easily deterred from things I liked doing or thought I might like doing. I'd love to still learn the violin. I would love to be able to produce music. Music is so wonderful. I wanted to go to school for multiple different things. The most recent one that I've narrowed most of my interests into is audio psychology, the effect that sound waves have on your brain. And while I can do home study and all this kind of stuff, I will never be an authority on the matter. I don't have the ability to get the equipment to do my own studies. I don't have the money to save. Any moment I have the ability to save a dime, my whole world flips upside down and I lose everything. I have to fight to keep the small amount of possessions I have, and some of them make no sense. I have a coffee table. I don't even drink coffee. I don't have a couch. I don't even have a house. Like, why do I have a coffee table? But now I'm just wandering. I hope I didn't offend anybody with this. I hope that you got some laughs out of it, or at least that it was semi-enjoyable. I'm not going to do any of that self-promoting stuff. I'm not looking to be famous. I'm not looking for money. I mean, if it ever happened, I would welcome it, and I would do as much as I can do for everyone around me. And around me is a big area. I had this idea to give money away when I first started doing the Grubhub stuff and I was making good money. I was going to save money to give to someone just randomly and make a video for it. And I found people that I would like to help. But as soon as I was saving money for it, everything went downhill and I needed the money to live, for actual survival. And that depleted everything. And I'm now just in debt with nothing to, no money, no things that I can survive on. Drinking lots of water though, which helps, because I'll survive just like you will. No matter how bad depression gets, no matter how much anxiety you have over the things that are going on in your life, you will survive. You will press on to the next day, continue. It's great. I don't know where I heard it, but we all need to live. We all need to survive. I wish you all the best of luck and the best of fortune. I wish nothing but happiness for all of us. Sorry I kind of got low, but love you, son. Listen to your mother. Everybody, good gaming to you. Good night.